Usually, the dead body doesn't move, so we have to make accommodations for him, and we treat him or her with, inshallah ta'ala, as much respect as possible. Okay, so what we're going to do, Adam, if you don't mind, open up the body bag, and be quick because we have little time. The zippers are here. Just bring it all the way down. You can stay just like that. When they're putting you in the bag, don't help them. So people can understand how we're supposed to be handling the deceased. Okay, in order to get him onto this body bag is that he has to be put on it. The way he gets put on it is that we're going to turn him and tuck the bag under him. No, don't move. You're going to stay dead weight, like you're sleeping and no one's doing, you're dead. So what we do, guys, is feet first. You take the foot, you put it over the other foot, face in the direction that you want it to go. You put the opposite foot in the direction that you want it to go. And then he gets turned. And this should get scrunched up just a little bit more. It gets put towards the person's back. Adam, that's not enough. You got to scrunch up a lot more than that. And look, his head is past the body bag. So sub it. 1 second. Bring this here. He has to be inside the body bag, right? So this is where his body is. And tuck it inside his back. So what I'm doing on this side, guys, is that I'm tucking the body back, not halfway, but almost halfway into his back. I'm going to gently take this foot, put it back. Of course, when we're doing this, someone is holding his body, and he gets rolled back on, and you're always watching the limbs. Take his head here. I'm going to take his foot, put it on the other side. And I turn him this way. The bag is right there. Slowly gets put back down. Foot goes over. Arm gets put down. Body bag is put over him. As such, maybe his body bag is not that just for you to feel comfortable, only for presentation. We don't put dead bodies in here. It wouldn't smell too good. You guys feel for him? I think this is good enough. I think last event that we did, workshop event, was it City College? Yeah. I love the brother that we picked. Just we could have picked someone a little bit lighter. We had like 4 or 5 guys picking them up. That's the reality. Sometimes when you're getting somebody out of the house or out of the hospital, wherever it may be, it's not that easy. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to take that handle. I'm going to take this handle. You're going to stand on this side. Okay? So instead of you grabbing the handle, I want you that when you lift him, you're going to carry him like a baby. One hand under the body. And Adam, you got that? Bismillah. Remember falling off. How much time, you guys? How much time do you have?
Half hour.
I have half an hour. Bismillah. So one hand on the strap, one hand under the body of the baby. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Slowly, baby step. We're not rushing. We're not rushing. Slowly come down. Make sure his head is not left again. It's okay if his feet are off. It's not cool if his head. Okay? For now, inshallah, we're going to unzip this bag. So when the body passes away, is it necessary to use, you guys want to use a microphone? So when the body comes from the place of death, usually where is that place of death? Usually? Huh? Hospital. When they come from the hospital, what are they wearing? What are they wearing? What do you wear in the hospital? Clothes, sneakers, shoes? Huh? Gowns, right? Gowns. With the buttons, right? So before we go ahead and just unzip the bag, sometimes they come in a body bag, sometimes they come in a plastic bag, believe it or not, depending on which hospital there is a person's coming from, is that we're going to put over the person something known as the awra cover. And what is the awra? Private. And what's the private for? By the way, guys, for those who haven't figured it out, this is a baby casket. You guys haven't we don't carry our Janazah stuff in any type of special bag, so we use a baby casket so you guys can let that settle in for a little bit. When medical note comes, when angel of death comes, he's not asking you how old are you. Do you want to go? Do you want to stay? Time to go, time to go. Your time is your time. How much did you make use of that time is up to you. That's why we believe as Muslims, no such thing as original sin, because the child didn't have any chance to do any sin. If anything, he's free from sin, and we should be jealous of babies that pass away before puberty because they have no accountability. Although we're sad for their loss, when you think about it after a little while, is that you become jealous. So, we put an outer cover. Why is Nuruddin putting a garbage bag over Ala? Is it because he's garbage? He's not garbage. He's a very respected brother, inshallah, who has very unique answers. And the reason why we use a garbage bag is because the garbage bag, it covers his awra. And the awra for the brother is from where to where? Navel to knees, right? Belly button to the knees. And for the sisters, what's her awra? Depends which madhab you ask, right? Because some of them say she can't even talk. For the sisters, it's when their sisters are washing, they cover up from her mid-shin up into the bottom of her neck or her clavicle area. Okay? So for the brother, they put in this. And why a garbage bag or this type of fabric is that if you use just cloth, like a white cloth or whatever, and it got wet, then it defeats the purpose. You'll see his privates. With this, it's covering his awra, and if it gets wet, and it has to get wet from the water and the washing and so on and so forth, but it does not expose his or her awra. So now, before opening the bag, you have the awra cover. Why? So that when this bag gets pulled over, even if his gown was pulled up a little bit, pulled down a little bit, whatever it is, this awra cover will constantly stay on him until the end of the washing. So now we have to get him out of the body bag. So what do? What we do is just one of those dining table tricks. It's not going to work. Right? So what do we have to do? The opposite, right? The opposite. What we did before, we're going to rewind. We're going to do the same thing, just in the other way. We're going to take this foot over this way. We're going to grab his arm. We're going to pull him over from the shoulder and the hip. Right? The shoulder and the hip. And then I'm going to take the body bag. I'm going to slowly tuck it in, roll it in to the bottom of his back. As such, see, look, you guys might say something like, well, Brother Nuruddin, if I was like this, of course you can see it's private. But when you're doing a washing, no one is doing a washing from this flow. You're above the person. So you make sure that you're not looking at his or her private parts. So you put it all the way down to the back. Now at this time, to get a little bit gory with you guys, is usually the same time that we empty the person out. The person's turned over. We allow him or her to empty out from the gunk, from the funk, from the blood, and whatnot. That we allow the person to empty out naturally. We don't try to aspirate things because this is unnatural. Slowly bring them in. Watch the limbs. Always watch the arms. When you guys are washing, whoever you intend on washing, whoever allows you to wash in the future, always watch their arms because they're just flying around. I'm going to take the other foot, put it over. I'm going to come to my side. I'm going to grab first his wrist, bring it over, take my hand under his shoulder, bring it over, my hand on his waist, and pull him over like this. Okay, the body bag, or the garbage bag, or whatever they put him in, we take it, usually the garbage bag is right here, we roll it up into a bowl, and put it right there. Now, of course we have aprons, we have gloves, just for the sake of time, a little bit more cool and professional. Have aprons and gloves. So it's good to wear proper. What is not coming to me? Yeah, the proper dress attire. Too easy thing about that to say where's like attire, right? To wear the proper attire when washing someone with the gloves, an apron, inshallah, so that doesn't get on your clothes and so on and so forth. Now, if the person is on the wash table, passed away, we did away sunnah. We handle his body according to the sunnah. We put him on, we got him off. He is now with his what? He came from the hospital, he's wearing what? The gown, right? Now, if he came from a hospice care at home, he may have his clothes on, he may have socks on, so on and so forth. Nursing home, similar, he might have some type of regular street clothes on possibly, or a gown as well. For the most part, it's a gown. How do we take off the other clothing? It's not for this discussion because that in itself will take up 5 minutes, how to take off the pants, how to cut the shirt, so on and so forth. So now, let's say he just came from the hospital, general case, you pop those buttons in the top of the gown, you get it over. If it's something that you have to turn him to get the rest of it from the back, you're doing the same thing. You're going to take his feet over, you're going to pull it out from the back, inshallah. So now the person is naked, except that he has the outer cover. First thing, before doing anything, is that you remove whatever does not belong to the brother or the sister, like jewelry, like just jewels. Anything else that doesn't belong to a person that you would find on a dead body, usually like around here. No, socks and stuff from the hospital they don't have. Hospital usually put something on toe tag, right? Toe tag, EKG stickers, IVs. Certain IVs are to be removed, certain IVs are not to be removed depending on where they are and how serious they are and so on and so forth. If you were to take out certain tubes and IVs and whatnot, it may involve more work to sew him back up. And Islam teaches us to do the avenue that has less harm. So taking out certain things, we avoid doing that. So now we remove whatever doesn't belong to him. Teeth, if he has false teeth and they can be removed easily, you can remove them. If they are not easily removable, you leave everything as is. So now the person is completely naked and he's in his natural state, nothing that does not belong to him, and it's time to do ghusl. What's the first step for doing a ghusl for a living person? Living person, you're in a state of Janazah, you're in a state of impurity, okay? You're impure, either from sexual relations with your wife or what have you. How do you purify yourself? What's the first step?
Wudu. Wudu.
Someone said it, say it again. No, guys, someone said it, just say it.
Wudu.
Say it, who said it? Wudu. The sunnah, when you're making ghusl for yourself, it's not that you just jump to the shower, water, head and shoulders, soap. That's not ghusl. Ghusl is that you actually start with wudu. There is a sponge under the coffin, the shroud, wherever the shroud is. Does that look okay? So we'd have our gloves on first. How do you make wudu for yourself? What do you start with? Before hands. Before hands is that you're doing something.
Say Bismillah.
Saying Bismillah is
In
good.
your heart.
Your what? Your junk. Yeah. You have to clean your, yes.
What you say when you say
Distention. Distention is the precondition of
Before you do
wudu.
it.
If you don't, if you have to, if you urinated or you dropped a deuce, you have to do distention. My wife is shaking her head like you're so unprofessional, like saying words like that. It's okay. And we're not in a professional environment. We're all around the same age and we're chilling, we're teaching each other how to wash and shroud and shower. Fecal matter, what word am I possibly going to use that sounds so professional for number 2? It comes up, you see, like, you dropped the deuce, that's it, it's over. So now you have your left hand. You should clean yourself with your left hand, you have your glove on, and let's say that's your water supply, that bottle of water will be the shower head to clean the brother. Is that water would be entered from here, right? You would put the water from here without doing one of these and going at him, right? You know what your brother has, and for sisters, you know what your sisters have. So you should be handling that without looking and peeking and checking. There's no need for that out of respect to the deceased. So the water's coming in, and instead of me doing one of these or whatever, I just come here, have the sponge in my right hand. Yeah, Muslims are so, why the left hand? Because we eat with our right, and we give salam, we shake hands with our right, and we do things like that with our right, and we leave the dirty word for the left. So now, the water supply is coming in this way, and I'm cleaning my brother's junk the same way I would clean myself. We're cleaning him. I know what he has. I know what I have, and I'm cleaning the same way that I'll clean clean myself. How do I know if my brother's clean if I can't see him? If I can't look? Can't look. So I don't know if he's clean. Just guess, right? No. We do. Tell me, brother.
Well, I think you can see the water.
Exactly. Okay, this is one way. The water that's coming down into the drain, you can see if there's any type of discoloration from something that's not clear or muggy or yellow or whatever to clear water. But the problem with this is that you may be cleaning something off of his top, but because of the way he died, it's not really from the top, it was the number 2 that came to the front and so on and so forth. So you just don't know what you're cleaning. So you clean him, and then you do what? Put this down, take a look. This is clean, he's clean. This is not clean, he's not clean. Drop. And why are we using a sponge? So our tissues and shroud and bounty, why are we using a sponge? Sponge. Come on, guys. Huh? Someone said it. It's thick. Okay? When you're cleaning your brother's stuff, it's respectable that with your glove, you have some type of barrier, or your sister's stuff, is that you have a barrier between you and them. Not to just have something wrapped around your hand where you can actually feel everything completely violated. So use a sponge. Sometimes you can have big sponges. But those, if it's too big, you don't know what you're cleaning. Just really wiping, you know what you're doing. With this, you can clean respectfully. So, front is clean, he's clean. Great. How do we clean his backside? Turn him. Either turn him, lift his leg, we do both. So either foot first, turn him over. With man, you're going to be on a water supply. And we make sure, guys, that the outlet cover is not just enough for his knee and his navel, but when you're turning him, that you're always conscious of not exposing your brother. So sometimes if you have to like pull over a little bit, so on and so forth, you do so. So the brother, he's putting the water supply, so I go again with my left hand, and I come this way, right? And I'm cleaning my brother's back. Now if I say to myself, 1 second, I can't get a good grip on this, and so Adam, move your hand to his waist, and grab his leg up, and without breaking it. And then we just clean, and the water supply is letting the stuff go, and you see any type of discoloration, so on and so forth. As it becomes to get clear, you know that you're getting closer to your goal. You check, he's clean, we're clean, garbage, slowly put him back down. Now the brother, we completed Distention. Distention is cleaning the 5 parts front and back. What's next? Someone said it?
Wudu.
Wudu. Now we can do wudu. Bismillah. How do we make wudu? We're going to be very quick, guys. Wudu, which you all know. Right hand 3 times. First, left hand 3 times. The mouth, we're not putting any water in his mouth. No. Nor are we going to sit him up and gurgle for him and spit it out. What we do is we clean only what's apparent. Clean what's apparent. If you can possibly pull his mouth down, his lip down, and clean his teeth, you can clean his teeth as well. But you don't try to go crazy with it. So what are we cleaning with? Depends. If it's something light, you see just, mashallah, the brother just died, natural causes, whatever it may be, and his mouth looks like the way it looked before he passed, is that you take your hand with water, your right hand, and you clean his mouth how many times? 3 times. If you see that there's some stuff, matter, what have you, you can use your own common sense. Doesn't need a bounty, doesn't need a sponge, doesn't need a towel, and you clean accordingly to what the situation is. Then for his nose, same thing. You're not putting water into his nose and tilting him off and doing all that stuff. Is that you either use your hands, or use tissue, or a thicker towel, depending on what the person's condition is. Now, I advise the brothers and sisters that when you do ever, if ever, get involved in a ghusl, and do allow brothers and sisters to volunteer doing ghusls, inshallah, taqseer, is that you always be careful, because the skin of the dead is not like the skin of the living. You have to be very, very gentle. Sometimes we'll even put a bounty over a person's nose and slightly pull to clean whatever boogers there are, or what have you, and you'll see that the skin is peeling off. So be very careful and go back to just using your hand, so on and so forth, the cotton balls, depending on the situation. Mouth and nose is done. Everything else is pretty simple. For the face, I have a water supply. This is my water supply. I will pour it in the brother's hands. The brother will cup the water. He'll drop the water and he'll clean the brother's entire face from the chin to the head. ear to ear, everything in between. How many times?
3 times.
Yeah, stay alive, guys. So face 3 times. What's next? Arms. You go back to the fingertips, to the elbow 3 times, and some madhahib they say from the wrist to the elbow 3 times. Either way, do it right, do it good. And sometimes when brothers and sisters come to do ghusl, they're very like this, and sometimes one hand situation where they don't want to get involved. Come, try to do a ghusl, and you do the ghusl, inshallah. Do it as though you do it for yourself. Do it properly. Hit the spots the right way. Make the wudu the right way. So we finish the right arm and the left arm. What's next?
The
Guys,
hair.
make the wudu.
The hair.
So after the arms is what? Hair. So with wet hands, clean his head, pick up his head, make sure that you're actually getting all of his hair, right? And right after that, you rinse your hands, because for some reason the deceased, whenever you wipe their heads, you find a bunch of hair on your hands. It should the skin follicles, what happens after death, rigor mortis, but that's the reality. Then what's after the hair? Guys? Ears. Clean his ears, the same way the arm ears, inside, back, thumbs, done. Right foot 3 times, left foot 3 times up to the ankles. What's next? That's the first ghusl. The first ghusl is done. How many washings are there? How many washings are there? In the janazah? Guess. 3. But if you had very little supply, scarce supply of water, 1 is sufficient. You don't have to do wudu. You just clean from the tip of his head to the tips of his toes, front and back. This is wudu. Right? And even if you don't have water, you're allowed to use what? Tayammum. Tayammum is dry dilution using the earth, soil, sand, anything in that nature. You just do the tayammum, pound, you tap your hands on the dirt, you wipe off your hands front and back, and all you have to do really is either wipe the face, or you just do a general wiping with your hands over the whole body. Why? Because the washing, right, it's not that you're actually cleaning the person for the sake of cleaning the person. It's a spiritual thing. It's a reviving thing. You're bringing the person's body back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the best of forms, in a clean way, as best as you can. But at the same time, you can't fulfill it through water. You're not falling into sin. You know, your intention is just to get the person spiritually clean, inshallah, and then to go forward to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that would be for tayammum. His first ghusl is wudu. That's ghusl number 1. Ghusl number 2 involves, I think we have on the floor, body soap and shampoo. Okay? Doesn't matter what you use, but you can either use bar soap, you can use baby soap, depending on the skin, how to be gentle, so on and so forth. You take some shampoo or conditioner and both, or both. Make sure everything is wet, and we would shampoo and condition his hair. Without washing it, just leave it there, soap, shampoo, what have you. And then you take the body soap, you either put it on a body scrub, or just put it directly in his body and lather it as is, front and back. Now, the way that we do ghusl for ourselves, guys, sunnah is that you make wudu, you clean your head area and your hair area first, and then you do your right side. Right side front, right side back. Left side front, left side back. But when you're doing the deceased, you don't have to actually follow that order. Rather, you do the entire soaping, then you rinse in that order. So we go ahead. The brother has his hair shampooed, his body's all soaked up front and back. So we begin to clean it off, clean the shampoo off, the water everywhere, make sure it's clean, okay, front and back. And then we do his right side front. Right side front means just everything to the right of the middle of the body. So we clean that off, okay? We don't have to go back into his parts, but we just clean over all the way through. And we have to get now, what part of his body? We finish the right front, what do we have to do now?
The left one.
Right back, remember? Right front and then right back. So I'm going to turn him over. Grab his wrist over. Get my hand under his shoulder blade. Grab his hip. Turn him over. Usually during this time, guys, we can just clean. And as you clean, I'll explain something. You clean from the top all the way down to the bottom of the heel. When the person's soapy, it's not as easy to just pick them up like this. Sometimes you actually have to peg them. Pegging them means you take one hand and put it here as a block so that he doesn't flop on his face. You just hold him like this so he doesn't go anywhere. You can take him like this. You have another brother. For the sisters, you have another sisters there. Slowly putting him down. At this time, guys, as we mentioned, we also allow the person to drain, naturally leak out, so to speak. If they have any type of gunk or funk in their system, this type of turning allows that stuff to come out. And we also, whether Adam in his backside, we take the same water supply in the table to make sure that part of the table is clean from the soap. And then we would clean his left side front, clean the entire left side with water, clean his down, we turn him over, and we clean his left side of the back. Before putting him down, we make sure that he's emptied out, and we clean that table. So now the brother is clean the second time, second ghusl, the table is clean, he is pretty much drained out. The final ghusl, it involves, that's the first thing, camphor, camphor, and Arabic also known as kafur, is originally from, so when you're mixing it into a bucket, so to speak, this is the bucket. The pressure of the water, the shower head, plus the camphor grounded up, and the itib put together, provides you with this of simple white shroud for the brother. Sisters may also be shrouded with 3, but it's preferred for them to be shrouded with 5, and we will try our best to quickly do it in the 3 minutes we have left. So, come on to this. Basically, unroll the shroud. We open it up. 1, 2, not all the way. Another one. Another one. Another one. So, if I were to put this over the brother, as such, over the brother halfway, this would let me understand where we are. So first, for sure, Adam has to pull more towards his side. Okay? And like this, I know that this is how much usually comes off on that side of the table. So the brother would be lying down on halfway of the shroud. So what are we doing? We're going to turn our brother feet first, grab his wrist, okay. Get under his shoulder blade and his hip. 1, 2, 3. Before me and Adam just tuck this under, it's always good to make sure that the table is completely dry and that his back is completely dry. Okay? You take it, you get it here. How much space you almost have to say that? A lot of money. Okay? You make sure that it's tucked into his back as such, and make sure that the towel is over this. Okay? Slowly roll the brother back on. Feet over. Adam, you on the side. Same thing, guys. Before you unroll the shroud that's right here in front of us, we're not digging in, it's right there. You can see from this side, it's right here. Right here past his feet. Is that before unrolling it, his body gets that quick wipe down, the table gets a quick wipe down, and we unroll the shroud. The brother now is on top of 3 pieces of shroud, which we will shroud in a particular order. Right side, left side, what should we be doing first? Right side. Why not left? Why not like Salah? Why not right over left? His right? Okay, but my question is why can't we do his left first and then the right like we do in Salah? Because this is what's shroud? Shroud is what? Is shroud Salah? Is shroud prayer? Or what is shroud? His shroud, what is it for him? What is it serving as? Clothing, right? So, the clothing that you wear, you're supposed to, the sunnah is to wear your right side first. So, this is right. What do we do, guys? The Prophet says, وَإِذْ كَفَنْتُمْ فَأَحْسِنْ تَكْفِينَ. And when you do the kafan, or if you perform the kafan, then perfect it. Have ihsan. Do do it to the best of your ability. Make sure the brother's arm is positioned properly. Okay, it doesn't have to be on his chest, it just has to be on his side. So you go up to the ceiling, pull it up high, come down. Then from this point, what I can do is take the towel, come out with it, hang it, wash it, dry it, have you. Okay? And this entire time the brother's out, his privates are not exposed. Unlike non-Muslim services or even Muslim services who are not knowledgeable, they just go all in and do whatever they have to do, which is completely wrong. So that's the right side, left, we go straight up to the ceiling, go over, okay? Don't do his face too much because you start hearing sounds, feels like he's scared, principal walks in. Right? You have any sounds? Okay? So we do that 3 times, guys. Okay? Just to be quick, we're not going to be so efficient, tight, what have you. But usually we go up, straight up, so it'll be nice and tight. Bring it over. We do this 3 times. Okay? And then we would have, bring that third one over. Then we would have 3 ribbons. Doesn't have to be 3, it could be 1, it could be 5, it could be 7. You don't get too crazy with it. The whole purpose of ribbons is just to hold the shroud intact. And then we tie off the feet, one at the hip, one at the head. You transport the brother or the sister. You transport the brother or the sister, inshallah, with it, and when we go to the cemetery, you actually pop it off, and take off the shroud, and take off the ribbon. And that's the shroud for the brother. The shroud for the sister, I don't even think. It's okay. The shroud for the sister is that they'll be shrouded with 2 shrouds, 2 full shrouds. Like this one and this one, will be the first ones there. Just out of sake of time, and if I could even finish the shroud thing, is that they would have also, I'll give you life upon Islam. So the sister's shroud, is there a sister? This would be fair to the sisters. Be fair to the sisters. So I'm going to take another 2 minutes just to show the sisters how a sister is supposed to be shrouded.